together, right?
Yes.
Fair statement?
Yes.
So after your divorce, you did the most ludicrous thing that I ever heard of. You moved into her house, rented a room, according to you, so that you could be close to your children. Is that right?
It's to help out with the children. There's 5 of them, and they're pretty overbearing sometimes.
Well, that's a great idea, but if you're going to live with her, might as well be married to her. Living there under these circumstances is really ridiculous. In any event, to show you just how ridiculous, you claimed that your former wife assaulted you.
Yes.
At a time when you were, in fact, living in the house, and you want her to pay for your medical bills, want her to compensate you for your injuries. Your former wife says you started the argument. She just finished it. And since that time, you've embarked on a campaign of harassment, and she is counterclaiming. Tell me when this incident happened, Mr. Terry.
Happened February 26th of this year.
And according to what I read in your complaint, you were in the house watching TV with some of the kids.
Yes.
What were you watching?
I believe we were watching NHRA on ESPN.
You were watching?
NHRA, it's automobile racing.
And how many of the children were you watching auto racing with?
I believe all 5 of them were watching, and 2 of the oldest ones had left the room at this incident.
How old are the children?
They range from 7 to 16.
So the 16-year-old left.
Yes.
One below that is how old?
14.
That one left. So 3 little ones.
Out of the room, yes.
Little ones are there. Tell me what happened.
We were sitting there watching TV. She came out of her room, which is adjoining the living room, and started swearing and was upset about something, and went to the fireplace, sat down, and was smoking a cigarette. At the whole time, she was sort of cussing me out and saying how negative things were with me.
Why were you angry with him?
I had asked him to help do things around the house and to help with the kids instead of sitting there watching TV.
That's what you do to a husband, not to a tenant.
Well, he gets a big discount in rent because of his help.
But he was a tenant.
Correct.
If you wanted to boss him around, you should have stayed married to him. Okay, so you were angry because you would ask him to do some chores, help with the kids, and he was sitting around watching TV.
Yes.
Acting like a husband.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Rather than as an almost employee, because if you say that he gets a big discount in his rent, then you're giving up a certain amount of rent in order to get work out of him.
Correct.
So you weren't getting work out of him.
Right.
Recipe for disaster. So you were angry and annoyed and letting him know it.
Yes.
What happened next, Mr. Terry?
She kept raving on and badgering me with her voices.
Mr. Terry, were you ignoring her?
I responded to some of the things.
How did you respond?
Just with my mouth.
In front of your children?
Yes, nothing negative came out of my mouth.
If there was nothing negative that came out of your mouth and she's cursing at you, why don't you tell me what you said to her?
I don't remember. I was concentrating on the program.
Well, try to remember, Mr. Terry. I'm curious.
Well, I don't see what the problem is this evening. I'm with the 3 children. They're with me, or all 5 were with me, so it's not like I'm not watching them like she wanted to. And she just kept bickering.
So go ahead. Let me hear.
And she finished her cigarette, got up, charged me, swung at my face, hit me in the shoulder. I have a previous injury, and it's like a tender spot in my shoulder.
You were still sitting on the couch?
Yeah, I was sitting on the front part of the couch, like leaning forward with my hands crossed, just watching the show. And I didn't think she was going to charge me like that. And she came up around the table, took a swung at my face. I went back. She hit me in the shoulder. I fell back, and my feet went up, and I broke the table in front of me.
Go ahead.
And then I sat back up from falling back into the couch, and I looked at the glass on the floor, and she went off saying that I was breaking things and that I did that on purpose. And I said, no, I fell back when you hit my shoulder. And she was really steamed then. And I picked up a big piece of glass, probably 4 foot by 4 foot, over her head, threw it down. I put this hand up, it cut my finger, and it hit me in the arch of my foot, cutting it. And then I got up, and she was throwing things at me continuously, and I told her I was going to call the sheriffs, and she said, no, I will do that. I got up to go to the phone, and she was already there, so I just left and went out and sat on the stairs.
Were you treated that night?
No.
The next day?
Yes. I woke up I was painful in my foot, but I thought it might subside over the night, so I went down to my room. After the sheriffs came, they took a statement from both of us, gave her a ticket for battery, and she told the sheriffs that she didn't mean to throw it at my foot. She was trying to aim for the ground. And I was outside the whole time, and the sheriffs...
could you do me a favor and answer my question? Were you treated the next day?
I was treated the next day, yes.
Where?
At San Bernardino Medical Center.
Can I see the papers, please?
Do you want to see the police report?
Yes.
Here's the police report, the hospital report, off-work notice.
Thank you. Okay, Miss Terry, I'd like you to tell me your version of the events of the 26th of February.
Okay. He was sitting on the couch, and I think just the one youngest child was there. I think the oldest two, who are actually 15 and 17, were gone because they're usually never at home. And he was sitting on the couch watching TV, and I went and stood in front of the TV and asked him if he would help me do some things around the house. This was in February, 8 months ago, so I don't remember what I needed him to do. However, when I stood in front of the TV, he told me to move my fat because he couldn't see the TV. And the TV is big, it's like a 52-inch TV. And so when he said that, I was furious. So I walked up to him, and as he's sitting in the corner of the couch, and I did put my hand on his shoulder and said to him, "Get out. We're done. We're not doing this anymore. Get out. And if you don't leave right now, I'm gonna call the police." And that's when he kicked the table. And then when he did that, I was furious because my dad gave me that coffee table. It's very expensive. And I did not punch him. I did not hurt him in any way. I picked up the glass because it didn't really like shatter. It shattered but still stayed together. And I picked it up and I showed it to him and I said, "Look what you did to my table." And I threw it down on the wood right where it was. And again, it broke in like big pieces, you know, but not like shattering, like where there was like sharp edges because it's tempered or something like that. And he immediately got up and I walked over to the phone to call the police.
In February of 2006, was he paying rent to you?
Yes, he was.
And he had paid February's rent?
I believe so.
You can't throw him out.
Right.
You said, Eddie, who are you to throw him out?
But he was damaging my property.
No. Listen to me, Miss Terry. You can't do what you did, madam. What you did was 100% wrong. What you did was confuse your circle. Two people elected to have this bizarre arrangement where he rented an apartment room, I don't know what it was, and there was an understanding that he would help out with the children, help out with this, help out with that, but he's not your slave. You can't stand in front of the television set and expect no reaction. That's what wives do, stand in front of the act and say, "Listen, I asked you to do this and I asked you to do that and you didn't do it." So he responded to you. You didn't like it. Sticks and stones will break my bones. Names will never hurt me. You can't put your hands on him. Period.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The call that she made to the police says if he ever sees her with her new boyfriend, that he's going to kill him, and also told her that he's going to steal her boat.
I don't know anything about that.
Matthew Terry claims ex-wife Kelly Terry owes for injuries he received during an argument in her home. Kelly is countersuing for harassment and for making false charges to Child Protective Services.
How many days were you out of work, Mr. Terry?
The following day was a Monday. I went to the doctor's. I left work at half day, noon. I was there by 2.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a soils engineer, foundation engineer, inspector.
So how many days' work did you miss?
4 days plus a Saturday. I was taken off work for 3 days, and my employer told me if, since I was off,
Don't tell me what
Tuesday,
what your
Wednesday, and
employer,
Thursday,
listen to you,
that
trying
they
to
had
talk
no work.
over me, Mr. Terry.
Right.
That won't do.
I was taken off work from the doctor Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
That's all. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 3 days.
Yes.
And how much do you earn a day?
$300 a day.
Are you not living in the house now?
No.
How much child support do you pay for your 5 children?
$2,000 a month.
You up to date?
Yes.
Great. When did you move out, sir?
July.
You lived there from February till July?
The following week, I found a new place to live, and it wasn't ready until then.
That is, that is not true.
Just a second. So what you're telling me, Mr. Terry, is you lived there March, April, May, and June, 4 months?
I had the recreational vehicle, and I was gone a lot of the time.
Did you pay rent for those 4 months?
Yes.
Okay. I'm confused, Mr. Terry. If this happened February of 2006 and you decided not to pursue the protective order, even though she was given a ticket, why didn't you move out of the house immediately?
Like I said.
Why did you permit him to stay in the house for 4 months instead of evicting him?
You know, it's...
No. Are those legitimate questions?
Yes, they
are. You could have evicted him.
Mm-hmm.
So month-to-month tenant, did he have a lease? No. So he's a month. My question to you, Mr. Terry, is why did you file this case in September or October of 2006, some 8 months later?
Mainly my whole reason for living is to take care of the children, and I work 60 to 70 hours a week. And
why didn't
now
you
I
file
have
this
time.
case?
Now
Well,
I
that's
have
too
time.
bad. That's too bad, Mr. Terry. Quite frankly, I was very sympathetic with your position. I don't think that your former wife had the right to put her hands on you to cause this injury. And if you had decided to move out in March, 4 days later you paid up for February and said, I'm not going to live under these circumstances anymore because it's too violent, I would have heard your case, and I would have said, you're absolutely right, sir. She has to compensate you for the time that you were out of work. But this is an afterthought. And I don't know why the afterthought right now, Mr. Terry. You want to explain that to me? There has to be a reason for this afterthought.
I didn't want to create any more negativity in the home.
Well, you did by staying there for 4 months, sir.
I think it was more of a positive thing for the children and to take care of the children. That's my main thing.
Just a second. For the last 4 months, is that right?
Yes.
So why would you sue your former wife now?
I'm out of the house, and it would not create any negativity right now.
Oh, really? You think not?
Yes.
You think that the fact that you have children who are certainly of an age of understanding know that their father is suing their mother in court for thousands of dollars wouldn't create negativity?
She sued me in court for divorce.
That's different, sir.
It was more of a financial thing with her.
That's different, sir.
And I did not tell the children there was any litigation going on.
You may not. Don't you think that your litigation against their mother at this point creates stress? I mean, you're suing her for $5,000.
Yes.
And if you're suing her for $5,000, I'm sure that in your financial circumstance, the fact that you rented a room to you indicates that you're not exactly flush with dough. So $5,000 is a lot of money to her. I still don't understand the rationale for 8 months after the event.
I can explain that to you.
Well, I'd like to hear it.
The reason that he filed now is because that's part of my counterclaim for harassment. Because the reason he moved out is because I have a boyfriend. And in the year and a half, we have been divorced. I have never seen anybody else. We have, but not like inside the home or anything, or brought them around the children. And Matt just went berserk when I had somebody come over to the house and meet the kids and stay there. Not stay there, but just interact with the kids, because it's never happened before. And on August 2nd of this year, I have a police report where he came home and my new friend John was there, and Matt just flipped out, just started going crazy.
I see it.
He threatened to throw John off the deck. He threatened all of these things. And so I immediately called the police, and the police stood there while Matt moved out.
Mr. Terry, you have a problem with your wife having a new male friend?
No, not at all.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Matthew Terry says ex-wife Kelly Terry purposely cut him with broken glass during an argument in their home.
So you want to tell me your version of what happened on the 2nd?
Yeah, I came home from work and she called me maybe 20 times on my cell phone while I was at work in meetings, such things. And when I got home, I told her, you can't call me like 20 times a day. I was in meetings and she said, you better respond to me. And so I went downstairs and she chased me all over the house, just badgering me the whole time. I went to make a phone call to the sheriffs and she kept pulling the wire out of the house.
Was her boyfriend there?
No.
So the boyfriend wasn't there?
No.
This had nothing to do with the boyfriend?
No, he wasn't there.
So he wasn't there when the altercation took place? Well, it's interesting because she called the police, and the call that she made to the police says, called the RP and told her that if he ever sees her with her new boyfriend, that he's going to kill him, and also told her that he's going to steal her boat. RP restraining order against the subject. Why?
I don't know anything about that.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
There was no restraining order.
He lived in the house up until that day. And the police were there as he was packing his stuff and leaving, and he did make a comment to John. We were outside, you know, I just wanted him to just go. And he walked by the sliding glass door and said, in front of the police, I hope you're clean because I'm calling Child Protective Services to John. I hope your record's clean. And after that, and that's where the counterclaim comes in. This is the second time in my life I've ever been to court. The only other time was divorce court. And the judge commended us on having the most friendly divorce that he had ever seen. And we've been friends this entire time. We've been great friends. We're just not good married.
You weren't good living in the same place either.
We were for a long time. A long time we were, until I decided to move on with my life. And that's the problem that he had, is that I guess because I married him, I'm never entitled to be happy. I don't love him like that, you know. He lives in an RV. He parks it in front of my driveway, in the street, in a cul-de-sac. He'll leave it there for 3 days. He'll start fights with the neighbors, and all of this has been since August of this year.
Why, Mr. Terry?
The last time I brought the RV up, she told me to bring it and bring the kids to the dental appointments, and also Kenny, my 8-year-old, has a heart condition. He has to go to echocardiogram. So I brought the vehicle up. She knew that's the only vehicle I drive. I
Yes.
parked it in her driveway,
Yeah.
plugged into her electricity.
Right. But she said you left it there 3 days.
I was there for 3 days with it.
Did she ask you to move it?
On the third day, after I asked her what was happening with Kenny, Kenny told me that a friend of hers had choked him and thrown him down. And once I brought that up to her attention, it put her off, and she called the sheriffs.
That's not true. I have 2 teenage kids that go to high school, and so my house usually has about 9 or 10 high school kids in it.
Listen, you don't have to hear it.
Yeah.
She wants you to leave her alone. Where do you usually keep your RV?
I live in resorts.
Keep it there. Just keep it out of her driveway.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Terry, I'm not entertaining your counterclaim for harassment right now or ever. I think that things have happened, and he's just got to get over the fact that you're moving on. Moving up, moving on, moving out. You're absolutely entitled to do that. Hopefully, and I want you to pray every night that he meets a nice young lady, because that's the way that he's going to move on. He's going to move on. He's going to take you off his plate and put somebody else on his plate. Go looking for somebody. Go to Match.com. Go someplace. Go someplace, Mr. Terry. You'll find somebody who
I'm not
absolutely
after her
adores you.
at all.
Good.
My whole thing since the divorce was to take care of the children. That's my main thing.
Listen to me.
I raised them.
Listen to me. My sense is that you both are trying to be reasonable parents.
Yes.
You're just frustrating your children in the process. And if you have occasional spats, that's unfortunate, but it's not unexpected. You're going to have occasional spats. If you didn't fight, then you would still be living together. But, Mr. Terry, there is no way that I'm awarding you $5,000 and taking that out of the mouths of your children. That's just not going to happen. You are, however, entitled to reimbursement for the 3 days that you were out of work as a result of your former wife's actions. That's $900. Did you have any unreimbursed medical bills?
Yes.
What were the unreimbursed medical bills? Unreimbursed.
I have to pay back the insurance company, Pfizer
What insurance
Health,
company?
Pfizer Health, Benesite, for anything that I recover that they paid for out in medical bills.
Listen to me. If what you're telling me is that your insurance covered the medical bills,
Yes.
that's what you're supposed to tell me.
Yes, they covered $300. I have a $200 deductible, and I have to reimburse them for any.
I understood what you just said to me, sir. And I think that you're a very smart man, a little passive-aggressive, but a smart man. So is what you're telling me that you had to pay $200 because that's your deductible. Let me see the check for $200.
I don't have a check.
Well, did you pay it?
$110 of it.
Show
I owe
me.
$94. I
Show
don't
me.
have it.
Well, that's too bad. So your wife owes you $900. That's your wages for the 3 days you were out of work. Mr. Terry, put your hand down. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $900. That's all.
Why does our student step out?
I'm always positive with the children.
I hope that we can move on.
I've never put her down or anything like she says.
And just for the kids especially.
Doesn't do anything for me.
I do believe that we will still be friends. Yeah, we've been friends for a long time.
She has other motivations besides just taking care of the kids like I do.
I think that his real motivation was just being upset that I had moved on with my life.
My main thing is to watch out